Morning, my lovely yogis. It's always lovely joining you on the mat. So seated or lying down, just taking your first pose. Have a few moments. If you've been rushing this morning, this is the time now that you can just slow down. Let's ease ourselves into our weekends gradually. I've been getting up early in the mornings lately, what I call the miracle morning from a book I read, and spending some time really reading some stuff. And so I'd like to read you something from this Spirit of Yoga book. It's really wonderful. I love it. And this is about, goes through the 8 limbs of yoga, Patanjali's 8 limbs. So just as you lie there, just ground a moment. And this part is about the asana, the postures of yoga. Asana is the 3rd limb of Patanjali Sutras and the gate through which most Westerners enter yoga practice. Asana are the physical postures of yoga, ancient, tried and tested exercises developed over thousands of years to purposely exercise every muscle, nerve and gland in the human body. A committed practice of asana will make the body strong yet elastic, light yet grounded. No equipment is needed, just you, your determination, the mat and the breath. Asanas are the gateway to the self. They train the body and focus the mind, making it a fit vehicle for the soul. I thought that was quite lovely, a lovely way of summing up and describing to somebody the part of yoga that we actually do on the mat, the movement on the mat. And there's some other lovely pieces that I'll read to you a little bit later on. Just have a scan through your chakras. Start at root. Observe sacral. Check in with your solar plexus. Notice the energy around your heart. Consider how it feels around your throat and neck. Checking in with your 3rd eye and your crown, the upper spiritual chakras. And you don't have to really look into them, just linger there and notice if you feel balanced or out of balance, or what emotion or energy comes when you just consider these parts of our body. And they are really a lovely roadmap to follow. Sending your roots down. And then those of you, if you are seated, just come into a lying position and we'll start with our stretches. If there's never anywhere you know how to start with your own personal practice, lying down and having a lovely stretch is always great. So on the inhale, take that right arm up and over. And notice how it feels just to move the arm, how it feels in the shoulder joint. And then toes lifted, foot is the flexed position. And a lovely stretch through the calf muscle. And they're the initial things that you feel. And you just start to, as you stretch here, notice what else is going on. How you lower the hip and the stretch through the waist. And as we stretch through the arm and extend into our palm and fingers, the whole side is now active. And now point the toes and just enjoy that feeling as well. A lovely stretch over the big toe, all the other toes. And then when you're ready, just relax that foot. Let the arm just float down on the exhale. And have a moment, palms up, Shavasana. Deep breath in, slow exhale out. And just notice. Let's take the other side. Inhale over with the left arm. And then same again, foot flexed. Feeling the calf muscle initially, perhaps the shoulder, and then just start extending and feeling just a little bit more through this side of the body. Maybe how it feels in the plantar of your foot to stretch the foot up like this. And then as we point the toe now, We don't feel that so much, and it's across the top of the foot and the ankle. And on the exhale, arm down. Have a moment, lovely deep breath in. Feel the belly, feel the lungs, exhale. And then both arms up and over. And let's enjoy a really lovely stretch here. We feel like you can perhaps stretch a little bit longer. If your eyes are closed, imagine all the cartilage between your vertebrae and the spine just really plumping up and creating lovely spongy space, like we're growing slightly taller. And then as you exhale, arms down, and have a moment. Take a lovely deep breath in, conscious breath, and exhale. Observing that mind-body connection, breath. Bringing the right leg in, the right knee, hands round the shin, deep inhale, and exhale. And we know these movements so well, but just enjoy each and every time we do them. Inhale down, other side, taking a fresh look at this movement that we know so well. Deep breath. Exhale. How does it feel through your back and your belly? Just holding that breath out a moment. Inhale down, and then again, both knees in. Lovely little hug, deep breath. And exhale. And observing anything you need to be really gentle with today. Some of you may have been feeling a little bit low, under par, coughs and colds. Just have a rock for a moment. So just observing your energy today. Try not to steal the energy from your practice today and deplete yourself for later. So honouring what you really are, allowing yourself to give to this practice. And that also observes satya and ahimsa, truth and non-harm. So let's come up to seated. Grab your cushions back if you want to. We'll do Parasana 1. Lovely gentle warm up. And we'll take a fairly gentle practice today, I think. I like to get the vibe from you all, energy-wise. We won't be standing on our head today. Come into Chin Mudra. And just let the eyelids close gently. Try and soften through your face. Relax the muscles in your cheeks and your jaw. Loosen around the forehead. Relax the shoulders. And soft belly breaths. When you're ready, take the chin down to the chest. Pausing. Noticing the tension that you might be holding. How does it compare from what you're usually feeling with the head down? Does it feel better than usual, or is there a new sensation? Taking the chin up. And down. And once more up, feeling this lovely stretch through your throat. Maybe you lift your chin and just get that extra stretch. And down again. Come back to centre. Tilting the head right, left. And just taking that short pause to really observe what you feel. Let's do that again. Once more each side. Returning to centre and then a twist over the right shoulder. Notice your breathing, whether it is shallow, whether we can bring the breath back to the belly and be conscious. And just looking over the shoulder a few times. Returning centre. And then just head down, rotate either way. Notice if your fingers are tight and your palms are tense. All the areas we're not actually moving that we can be aware of. And then coming back to centre. Blinking your eyes open, then take your hands out in front of you. And then thumbs in, thumbs out. Which arm do you feel more? What sensations? And then up, down, round. Are you breathing to the belly? Or is it all just gone to the chest? Other way. And then palms up. Lovely deep inhale. Exhale, slow this down. Inhale. And checking in with the elbows. Just one more time. And then rotating shoulders. What do we need to loosen here? What are we holding? Can we naturally sort of intuitively know what we're holding in these tense areas if they are tense for you? And then release. And then just off cushions again, just pop that to the side and the feet. So toes opening and curling. And then pointing, flex. Noticing any noises. And then one over the other. Still just aware of your breath. Other way. And then swapping sides. Sometimes you might notice your feet are far more noisy than they normally are. And then let's come into the right knee. And hip. Just the other way. Lovely. Same other side. Notice where your mind is when you do these exercises, whether you're quite present with what you're doing and the joint you're working, or whether it's really easy for the mind to wander off because they're so simple. And other way. Lovely. Drawing soles of the feet together. Lovely stretching butterfly. Really trying to relax the hips here. Let the knees just fall wherever they want to. Lovely activation for our liver, kidney and spleen and gallbladder. And let's just take a few conscious breaths here. Relax the head and you can really breathe into the back of your body. Like getting in tune with our body, getting to know ourselves, that passage mentioned earlier, through our practice, through our asana, and just gently lifting up. Okay, we'll just do a few more stretches, gentle stretches. We'll do seated cat-cow. So just cross your legs, just rest your hands on your knees, and we'll inhale forward, exhale back. Maybe close your eyes for this. Take the feeling a lot more internally. How does it feel through your neck, Where do you feel it in your shoulder blades? Is there a lot of tension in your arms when you do this and your shoulders? And then let's start to rotate. Let's go clockwise. What do you feel in the muscles in your back as you rotate? Sometimes we forget we have these muscles here and only really notice them when we're moving them in a certain way. And then let's just sort of reverse that, go in the other direction. Easy movements, we know these, but fresh sensation each time we do them. And coming to a stillness, let's just lift the body. We'll take the right hand on the left knee and a gentle twist here. So slightly more than when we just look over the shoulder earlier. Not a deep twist, we're just warming up our spine. Try and relax your legs and hips and buttocks. And just feel the shape of the body. And let's come gently around to the other side, really observing how it feels, even as we move from one side to the other. Breathe to your belly. And there's a gentle movement in your ribs. Lovely. And coming back round to centre, we're just going to take a little flow as we just stretch side to side. So drop the right hand down, inhale, lift the left up. Exhale over, and we'll just do this the other side just a few times, just get into a little flow. Notice that side of the body when you stretch. You can take your gaze up under the arm as you look up. Notice what you feel. If you have got any little nervy twinges in the back, then just observe what you need to be mindful of today, and then just coming back. Okay, even just doing that makes you feel good. We've moved the body a little, but that's not the end of it. Come up to Tadasana. There's a piece in here I'd really like to read you. It's actually a meditation of Tadasana. There's so much juiciness in this book. So, Tadasana, the pose where we have, feet comfortably together and our palms facing out. And we do this so often. It's often the start of most of our sequences, most of our postures. I'd like you to just close your eyes. Standing with your feet together, tailbone tucked, sternum lifted. Bring your attention to your feet. Feel them broad, spread and full. Press down powerfully through the heels until you feel the earth pushing back. Let this push expand upward through your shin bones, the front thighs and into the torso. Draw your muscles up through your body. Feel how they lengthen, open, change shape. Grow into the space above your head. Imagine a string attached to the crown of your head. It gently lifts you as you keep pushing down. While keeping the body strong, soften the inner ears. Think of your lower jaw full of water. Let this water trickle down your organs, melting tightness in the throat, the heart, the stomach. Continue to soften internally, but keep the physical shell strong and stable. Think of your tailbone curling like a fern. Feel yourself rooted. Stay open. Isn't that lovely? How a pose that we transition through so quickly sometimes. can be put into words and to feel that really through our bodies. So we'll come into Tadasana as you are already, just noticing the difference from being directed differently, and then we'll come into tree pose, balance. So with the weight in your right leg, just lifting that left wherever you want to, heel to ankle if you're feeling like you really need to be grounded today and a bit unstable, or below or above the knee. Focus on your drishti point. You might have a new one each time, or the same thing that you look at. And then gently draw your awareness to your breath and the belly moving. Notice if you can still retain that lovely lift through the body. A strong exterior and a softness inside. And then when you're ready, just gently release. Give your legs a little shake, or just move them gently before we come into the other side. And so focusing on grounding that left leg, roots coming through the sole of the foot, lift through the body, and then just lifting up wherever you're comfortable today. Take a moment as you focus your gaze, your concentration, and your breath. How do you feel this side? Is there a balance in the body, or a lot more adjustment? Lovely. And relax. Give your legs just a little wiggle or movement. We're going to do Earth Sequence again today. I know we did this last week, but it is really so gentle, and it's really nice just to feel our body. We've come into this kind of conscious mind of really feeling the body and lift this morning. So let's do this with a completely fresh perspective. So coming to the left side of your mat, if the mat's along, we'll just do one round, and then as soon as you're finished, just lie down, just take that lovely quiet time, don't wait for me. And we'll take a nice diamond shape with the fingers. Inhale. I'm going to allow this to be quite meditative for you and not talk much. Just stay with your breath. Be in the gap between your thoughts. Turning to your right. Focusing on your balance. Balance and breath. Staying in the present moment. And letting go wherever you need to as we come forward. Surrender and trust in the process of life. Joining your hands at your heart. Taking your time now just in a neutral Shavasana. So as you lie here, be aware of your thoughts. Starting to relax. And just internalizing that whole practice. When you're ready, draw the knees in. Let's have a little moment to rock. And we'll come to standing again for self-salutation. Just taking your time if you need to. I've started to read affirmations in the morning, which is a really lovely way to start your day positively. I have a lovely list of them on my phone. And one of them is really lovely. It's, "You're wonderful, Zana. I love you." So as you stand at the top of your mat, please join me, and don't feel silly, in just inserting your name into that affirmation for this self-salutation, saying, "I am wonderful, I love you," and insert your name into that. And we're going to start this practice with that lovely warm feeling inside. So when you're ready, take a lovely deep breath and release the arms. We're going to step back with the left foot into Virabhadrasana 1. We're going to come into this in a really gentle way, honouring our energies and sensations through our body today. This is a grounding pose, Warrior 1, and then opening up into Warrior 2. And feeling strong, working on our solar plexus as well as our roots. Feeling the strength through our legs and thighs, grounded in the feet as they are broad and connected to the earth. We softly move into Parsvakonasana, which has a different energy to this pose. Lovely reach, stretch along the side of the body as we stimulate the gallbladder channel. And then we rotate the hands down and we come into pigeon. And here we work through all the meridians in our legs, our spleen and stomach, liver, kidney, and gallbladder. And just taking a moment here, just let that stretch develop, feel it, enjoy it, breathe to your belly. Let's just come onto elbows for a moment. We're not going to shoot past this too quickly. Drop the head down. Observe if you're tense in your abdominal muscles, the front of your body, and seeing if you can just relax them and breathe deeply to the back of your body. Feeling that deep stretch in the buttock and thigh. Releasing any tension and energy that's locked in our hip. Okay, so lifting your head slowly, just come back onto your hands, turn the back toes under, we're going to come up into down dog. Nice and slowly observe how it feels to move, really connecting to our body today. If your palms are lifted away from the mat, really try and sink the base of your fingers in so that the hands fully connect to the mat. Notice any tension in your elbows, shoulders, shoulder blades, lifting that tailbone. Let's take a deep inhale here. And consciously on that full exhale, we come down and back. Getting a lovely stretch through the back of the body, the bladder channel. And then from here, we're just going to come into some crown rolls. Forehead up to crown, inhale. Crown to forehead, exhale. We'll do 3 of these. Feeling the nose touch onto the mat. Lovely and stimulating through our third eye to crown. And just say to yourself again, you are wonderful, Dana. I love you. Put your name in there. Just have a rest now in Hatha Balasana, arms extended, or Balasana if you want to bring them back to the feet. Taking knees wide, just have a rest here. Give yourself a little boost. Say these lovely things to yourself. You're feeding your subconscious with positivity, even if you think it's silly and you don't believe it. When you're ready, lifting the head up nice and slowly. As we come up to standing, we can tuck our toes under and have a nice little stretch through the base. And our root and our plantar chakras as well. Okay, coming up to standing. Let's just flow through the other side. Insert your name. You are wonderful. I love you. Take a lovely deep inhale. And then as we exhale into Virabhadrasana, one with the right leg back. Let's sink into this. Warrior one, the warriors that we are. Feeling that lovely stretch over the right hip flexor, engaged in the buttocks. And warrior two. Notice if your shoulders are up by your ears. See if you can drop them but still feel lengthened here. Have a lovely lift through your chin and sort of a proud feeling through your body. Sink into that front knee a little bit more. Let's feel a bit more strength. Breathing to your belly. Notice if your belly was just tight just then. And let's just soften into Parsvakonasana. Enjoy this pose as we lengthen through our body. Can you feel the space between your hips and your ribs? Okay, rotating down, pigeon. And just gently coming into this pose. Breathe into it, feel into it. What are we holding? Try not to roll the body to the side. Keep the hips nice and squarely forward. Onto the elbows if you want to, or all the way down with the head and arms. How does this feel this side? Is it really different from the other side? Perhaps there's a bit more of a tightness through the inner thigh or your calf muscle. Perhaps the stretch you're feeling is really quite intense. Try and relax the front of your body, the abdominal muscles. Breathe deeply. Notice if your back leg, the back thigh is tense. And then nice and slowly, let's come up, down dog. Take this nice and slow-mo. Feel all the rush of fluid, blood, energy through the body, just moving into the legs. Grounding the hands. Nice flat back. Inhale, exhale down, 3 crown rolls. And maybe draw the image of a crystal into your mind's eye. Perhaps a clear crystal like a quartz. As you roll from third eye to crown, these crystal is linked with these in the fifth dimensional energies. How does this feel? Stimulating the crown of your head and your forehead, something that we probably don't often do day to day. Let's just take a rest. Hatha balasana, whatever feels right, or whatever restful pose you feel like you want to come into today. Take some deep breaths. How are you feeling about your body? And notice if that first thought was either positive or negative. Lovely. Just lift your head slowly. Again, we'll just take a little toe tuck, leaning back and stretching through. And while we're here, we can turn our palms the other way. So take the fingers towards your toes. Only where you're comfortable. You might be able to get your hands forward or they need to come further back. Stimulating the energy that runs through your arms. The inner arms are your yin channels and they are the heart and the lung meridians. It's so lovely when you're working and moving your body like this. Right, just release your hands to know that you're actually doing a little bit more for the organs within your body than just moving into shapes. Come into a seated position. We're just going to do a seated twist. Move the body, forwards and backwards. So walking your sit bones out. Have a flex in your foot. In Hatha, we're active and we're engaged. So just flexing, you're going to get that sensation through the back of the leg. So right foot over left knee. A lovely tall lift. Imagine that cord, someone's pulling you up. Left hand comes around the front to hug and then right hand behind. And let's twist. Deep breaths. As you breathe into the belly, you might feel that against your thigh. What do you feel through your shoulder blades and all your back muscles? Are they tense? The ability to look over our shoulder and look what's behind us in life. Where have we come from? How far have we really come in our life? And what we can be proud of. Lovely. Just rotate back round to the front without releasing your legs. Tilt to the left and then tuck your foot under your opposite buttock. So we're just going to take this twist a little bit deeper. Again, the left arm still hugs around the front and the right arm behind you. We're just tucked in a little bit more here. And noticing this twist, whether you feel it in a different place or it's more intense. Might feel actually some way nicer. Coming around the front. Unravel yourself. Have a moment just to lean back into your arms before we come to the other side. Just a couple of breaths of reflection on what we can feel through the right and the left side, the back of the body. What we're feeling through the buttocks. And then we'll come into the other side. Feet again flexed, left foot over right knee, and a lovely length again. We hug round with the right and swing round with the left. Lovely stretch through our right calf muscle here. And using your breath, inhale, lift, exhale, twist. Sometimes you'll like these poses, other times you won't like them on certain days. Just notice what today feels like and whether there's a real sort of enjoyment in how your body's feeling. Wonderful for solar plexus and your immune system. Gently, let's just come back around the front, tilt your body to the right, tuck your foot under opposite buttock, and again, let's just explore the twist a little deeper. Maybe you'll feel it a lot more through your hip, or a stretch around your back ribs and the muscles there. Try and breathe to the belly rather than the chest. And then when you're ready, let's just inhale, come back round the front. This time, unravel yourself, just lie down for a second. And take some deep breaths. Enjoy what you felt, where you've stretched some muscle gently. And then when you're ready, bring the knees in. Just lastly, I'd like to just do a very, very gentle flow from child's pose to cobra. So rolling up. Come onto your belly. We'll only do about 5 of these, but I just want to end with the body being flexed ever so gently in these directions. So onto your belly into like baby cobra, hands under your shoulders, and then inhale. Exhale as you push back. And your bottom might not come to your heels, just come into this nice stretch. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. And really take a lovely long exhale. Deep inhale through your nose. Long exhale coming back. Nice little push up as we come back. And stretch through our back. One more. And then just coming back into a restful pose now. Bring your buttocks back to the heels. You can rest your forehead on your fists or rest them on a pillow with your hands. Taking some deep breaths. And when you're ready, lift your head. Come into a seated position. I'd like to just do some meditation before we relax. I know when you relax to your mat, we can really quite let the mind go and just sort of dissolve into possibly sleep. But to come into a seated position, it's a little bit more conscious with some meditation. We're just going to do a few minutes of sitting very quietly and noticing, what we call Zazen, seated meditation. Rest your hands, one on the other. And what I really want you to notice is when you're in the gap, when you're consciously thinking, I'm in the gap between thoughts that are taking me off. And sometimes I actually say to myself, I'm in the gap. And it keeps me in that place where I'm aware of my breath, I'm in that gap, and then maybe a thought will take me off somewhere, and then I'll come back to that gap between the thoughts. So let's just sit with this. Close the eyes. Relax. And just start with being in that gap. Thinking about the fact that you're breathing. Consciously aware that you're thinking of your breath. following the breath, still in the gap. Still in the space where you're just aware of your breath. Thinking about your tummy moving. Relaxing your body a little more. Just breathing in this gap. Still with your breath. Very aware that you're not thinking anything else than being in the gap. And then just gently blink your eyes open. I know that I spoke quite a lot through that. I just wanted to keep you back, coming back to being really present with how you felt in your body, in that gap between a thought taking you off unconsciously. Just notice, you'll have to tell me afterwards whether you kind of stayed in that presence of just breath and no thought, other than thinking that you're not thinking. Relax now. Choose a seated or a lying position. That's sitting in the gap between the unconscious mind taking you off somewhere. That's the skill in that meditation. It's being in that gap longer and longer and longer, and just feeling yourself, the body. It's lovely. So as you relax, I have something else that I found in this wonderful book that I wanted to read you. It leads on from what we opened with. Take a nice deep breath, a lovely long noisy sigh on your exhale. And just take a few more moments just to fidget and get into a stillness. Allowing yourself to be nice and warm. So why practice asana? Asana work on many different levels. At first, our bodies solely feel the outward physical experience of practice. Every pose seems torturous. Our bodies trembling, sweaty and exhausted perhaps. Then at some point, it becomes a necessity. The blissful lengthening and strengthening of muscle, skin and flesh, and the quality of your mind, cleansed, refreshed, calm. It is a practice that anchors you, It helps you live in a more positive and less chaotic fashion. People close to you notice the difference. Asana are not just stretching exercises. They are feeling, an exploration of self. The practice of asana invites us to direct our mind and our breath to the core of each posture, helping to open locked areas and release imbalances that prevent the body from being in correct alignment. This tremendous harnessing of our faculties draws us deeper and deeper through the layers of our being. As we become more and more settled in the core of each posture, the dualities between body and mind and soul begin to dissolve. An inner awareness and subtlety evokes. And the asana becomes a state of being in itself. The moment you unroll your mat, you are entering a disciplined practice. Honour it as such. Begin each practice by sitting or standing for a few moments in silence. This creates a psychological break from the concerns of everyday life and helps to bring the focus and intent necessary to complete your practice. Always end by resting the body in Shavasana. This allows the effects of your practice to settle peacefully in the body. It is also a time to refresh the mind by letting go and slipping out of mind talk. The practice of asana will have quietened a mind. Shavasana, or rest pose, is the time to enjoy this effort. Not yet, but when leaving Shavasana, gently roll over to one side and wait a few moments before opening your eyes to allow the body and mind to adjust to the real world. Bring care and attention when rolling up your mat, keeping your focus alive until the very end. Eventually, this focus will start to flow out of your practice and into your life. So just have some time now just to sort of contemplate that lovely wisdom. And this time that you're lying there, just absorbing everything. As you lie there, don't move just yet, just absorb this feeling of being in Shavasana. Feeling the effects of your practice. Movements forward, backwards, twists, stretches to the side. How it has affected your joints and your muscles, your subtle body energy, and your thoughts and feelings. The whole holistic effect of the practice. And so very gradually now you can start to move fingers and toes. Perhaps take a nice deep breath and a long sigh. And just gradually coming back into your day. If you're lying down, you can sort of start to hug the knees in. And again, feeling whatever you feel as you roll to the side. Notice if you welcome the rest of your day or you are quite happy and reluctant to come back into it. All these feelings that stem from our practice. And then when you're ready, you can just join me in seated. Taking a few more breaths and have a few moments just to get comfortable as we will chant 3 Oms in a moment. Just let your energy settle. And as we Om together, as always, just feel whatever that feels like. Feel if it expands from your body, where it reverberates through like a ripple in a pond. So draw the hands to Chin Mudra, closing the eyes, lovely deep inhale. Perhaps noticing the tingly vibration in the lips as you come to the M of Om. Where does this feeling stretch? Draw the hands together, rub the palms. Feel that lovely heat that you generate. We're all energy. And then warming the eyes as we palm the eyes. Let the eyes blink and start to let the light through, and then parting the fingers, we draw the hands down. Om Shanti. Namaste.